I'm Ina Fried with CNET News here in San Francisco with Craig Mundie, Microsoft's Chief Research and Strategy Officer, who's here for an energy conference tomorrow talking about some of your thoughts and some of the company's thoughts. What does Microsoft bring to the energy conversation?
Well, I think we believe that energy is one of these very large-scale problems that many companies may be able to lend something to. Microsoft believes that information technology is going to be one of the key technologies in making some changes in energy conservation and maybe even in the way that new energy sources are developed and certainly how they might be managed in the future. And so a couple of years ago we decided to explore that space and ultimately made the decision that we could do something, and in particular decided to focus on trying to help people control their energy spend in the residence.
And why this problem? I mean, it seems a little bit far afield from what we think of Microsoft as doing. What made this particular thing rise to the level that Microsoft was interested?
Well, energy and the spending on it are one of the largest overall expenditures of every society. In every country there are a set of problems which range from the national security issues around energy independence and just the overall cost associated with buying more and more energy. And then finally there's the environmental problem that people are increasingly focused on. And so if you had to solve any one of those, it might be hard, but having to solve for all of them at the same time is especially hard and requires a more radical change. And so we think that it's interesting now to think about using information technology, in particular large-scale web services and big computational facilities, to try to help people figure out what the optimal way is to lower their energy consumption.
And the interesting thing here is that you guys are looking at the home market. Why the individual homes versus, say, businesses?
Well, if you look at where energy is expended, the individual in their homes and cars is the largest component. The second component is the large number of small commercial enterprises. And actually the smallest component of the three is the very large-scale industrial users. The industrial users already have a special set of arrangements that they use to control their energy and their costs associated with it. And so it's really the small businesses and the homeowners that don't have a special arrangement. And so we thought that it would be interesting to look at ways to help people lower their intrinsic energy consumption and to use computational methods to do that. And so we've built a new web service that we'll be launching tomorrow that enables us to start down that path.
And one of the interesting things about this service, which was codenamed Niagara and is now known as Hohm, is that it uses Windows Azure. Can you talk a little bit about how it's designed and what it does?
Well, Azure is Microsoft's new cloud platform that we're using to create a scalable, geographically diverse infrastructure to be able to both allow us to build and run large-scale web services, but ultimately to make it a platform that third-party developers can target and rent in order to be able to make large-scale deployments of their own applications. So we've been building Azure, and it's been so far used to do internal applications during its early testing. And this new Microsoft Home service will be the first of our outward-facing commercial web services that will be hosted on the Azure fabric.
And what exactly does Home do? Is it, the kind of thing where it's going to know exactly what type of energy I'm using, or what types of things does it do to help lower my energy bill?
The first thing it does is it gives you essentially an online form that you can fill out, either in whole or in part. And the more information you provide, the more accurate a model we develop of the actual energy consumption properties of your home. So you answer a set of questions about your home, the zip code in which you live, which gives us an overall set of baseline parameters around weather and energy costs. And then you answer individual questions about the structure of the home, the materials of the home, the age of the home, the insulation of the home, how many windows and doors you have. And each of these becomes a refinement on a computational model that we have refined. The original models were developed by the national laboratories in the Department of Energy in the United States for U.S. residential construction methods. And it gives us a way to come back and give you an analysis of your current home and its energy consumption, and recommendations for how you might actually make investments that would intrinsically lower your overall energy cost.
And Microsoft isn't the only company looking at this. There's a lot of startups, some big companies, Google. What is Microsoft's difference in this area? How do you guys look at the problem differently? How do you guys approach it?
I don't know of anybody else who's actually approached it the same way that we have. We've decided we wanted to make an offer that was sort of universal, that anybody who has a residence or an apartment they live in where they pay their own individual electric bill or have a gas bill might want to be able to participate. So our initial offer is essentially nationwide, and everybody might be able to participate if they choose to. We also don't require or are not dependent on some assumption about some new type of infrastructure for either home automation or metering or measurement. You can make these decisions and make your investment or follow these recommendations to lower your energy consumption without having to make any necessary investments in these other advanced technologies. Over time, we think that those will come into play, but we think that that'll play out over a different period of time.
So you don't need any special gear or a particular partnership. You guys are partnering with a few different utilities, but that's not a prerequisite?
That's right. Everybody can participate. You don't need any special equipment. You just have to have a personal computer to access the website with which you can answer the questionnaire, and then you're off to the races. You start to get feedback based on more and more data that you provide. In the cases where there are utilities that are partnering with us, and we expect that that'll grow over time, the utility will actually have a data feed that provides your historical billing records as an automatic input to this. So that allows more direct correlation between your historical energy spending patterns and the models that we developed, and that ultimately produces a more refined estimate for your home.
And this is a free service, right?
That's right.
So what's the business model for Microsoft?
Over time, we expect that as people begin to move to act against these recommendations, that it'll provide an opportunity for us to either through advertising or other types of services, bring people forward who might have products to sell to people who want to make these energy efficient investments. Over a longer period of time, there may be other ways where we can actually have a monetary exchange between us and utility companies in order to be able to control aggregate load or other things, but that would be much, much farther in the future.
Great, thanks, Craig.
Thank you.